Hope everyone is doing well. We have some fun new colors to show you guys today, but also thought I would go into a more in-depth sort of presentation on colors and powder coating in general, give you guys an idea of our different types of coating, as well as get a little more in-depth about gloss values, really give you guys a behind the scenes of just color and finishes in general, and what you can expect with different colors and finishes. Hopefully this is really helpful for you guys, and pretty excited about the new colors that we do have available. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Tucker Martin. I'm the product specialist here at Keylink. We do these webinars twice a day, or two times every Friday. So once a week, twice. I think we've wasted enough time. We'll get right into it. Remember to drop any questions you guys might have in the question box, and we will get started. So some of the things that we're going to go over today real quick are our PCI 4000 certification. That's an important one. Different types of coatings that we offer, the coastal upgrade being one of them. Get into that a little bit more in depth. Color options, standard versus special order, the new color palette, lots of different things like that. So first of all, the PCI 4000 certification, some of you may have heard of it, some of you may have not. This is a certification that we have achieved with our in-house powder coating. So I guess to lay the foundation there, we do all of our powder coating in-house. And the PCI, the Powder Coating Institute, offers various levels of certification, 4000 being their highest certification. There are currently only 5 manufacturers in the country, actually in the world, because it's really a domestic certification agency. But so 5 manufacturers in the country that have achieved the 4000 certification, and that's not railing manufacturers, that's all powder coating applicators in the whole country. So it's an incredibly prestigious certification to achieve. It requires an audit that they actually come out and check in person to make sure that we are powder coating everything, up to the highest quality, that our technicians are well trained and also cross trained so that they can be, really bouncing back and forth between automated lines and hand coating, and making sure that our powder coating comes out of the ovens at a high enough quality that doesn't chip, it doesn't have any defects. It's a very hard certification to achieve. The difference between their, say, 2000 certification and their 3000 certification is a lot more have achieved that 2000, and that 4000 is a pretty exclusive club. So we're very proud of that. We hold that to this day and do not intend on losing it. It just goes to show that the finishes that you guys get are going to be the highest possible quality. Doesn't mean that we don't every now and then have defects. It's a perfect product every single time is impossible, but it means that we follow the highest standard in powder coating in the country. So some of the coatings that we offer, well, just some of the coatings in general, these are AAMA powder coating classifications. So the 2603 is essentially an interior or designed to be an interior coating. We do not do any 2603. The reason I include that on here is because not all powder coating is created equally. A lot of times, especially if you're not really in the know about powder coating, you'll just say, oh, well, it's powder coated, so it should be able to withstand, exterior weather applications. Not always true. Even on interior applications, the 2603 is designed to last about a year before color fading and chalking may occur. So it's a significant difference in that 2603 to the 2604, and then another significant jump to the 2605. The 2604 and 05 are the only ones that we offer, but again, just leave that first one on here to show that not all are created equal. 2604 is an exterior rated powder coating. It is, I guess I'll get a little bit into the delta E scale here. So it's rated for exterior use and maintains a color retention of 5 delta E units or less. So this is not a Keylink thing. This is a general AMA powder coating standard. In order to get the higher level of powder coating, it comes with what is called a delta E unit. A delta E unit is the measurement between visual difference in color. You can see that sort of four-dimensional scale I have there in the middle, showing a delta E unit. Delta E unit is the smallest color differential that you can witness by eye. I mean, if you're really trying, just the smallest possible difference that can be viewed by eye. So 5 delta E units is not huge, but it is visual. So that's basically the tolerance. So you can expect from an exterior rated powder coating, the 2604, that one rail that you run through a powder coating booth at the extreme end of the delta E scale, and another at the other extreme end will be a slight visual difference. It's very minor, but it's something to be expected out of a exterior rated powder coating. We do not mix our own powder. We do not carry similar, just a little bit off different paints like you might get like at a paint store or something like that. So if you do see a difference in color in any of our products, it's either because you have one product that's coated in a 2604 and one in a 2605, which are two different powders, or it's something that's likely going to be within that 5 delta E unit range, or just a tiny little bit different. You can just see it barely if you look at it. But there is this standard here. So if something does come across and we see something that is, significantly out of tolerances, out of that 5 delta E unit, we can go back on our powder supplier and say that this isn't within tolerance for that 2604 powder coating. That's why we have these standards. 2605, that is our coastal upgrade that you have probably heard before. Pretty similar. It does impart an additional gloss. It is designed for weathering for up to 10 years without a 30% resistant in gloss, and greater than a 5 or greater delta E unit. So it does have a little bit, because of that gloss, because of its a higher resilience, it does have a little bit higher of a delta E unit value that it can sort of, a little bit vary in color, but generally that's going to be well within, an acceptable visual appearance. And it's what you get from, having an increased longevity of the powder coating. So I'm gonna get into gloss value. I know I'm getting really into the weeds here, but this is truly fascinating stuff, and really helps when it comes to understanding the color. So gloss value is measured in GU, that stands for gloss units. So there is a generally accepted national body that sort of regulates this, but there's a generally accepted gloss range that you will see throughout the country. Kind of every manufacturer just does their own thing around that. So if you get a gloss color from Keylink and a gloss color from what else, an aluminum pergola or something like that, and expect them to be identical. It's not guaranteed that that's going to be the case, mostly because, especially even within those set standards, there's a lot of variation. But also because kind of just everyone just names colors their own thing, the same way that they name the actual color, not the gloss value, but the actual color. You have, one color that's named just light green, and the other will be shade tree, something weird. So it's sort of a lawless wasteland in some respects, but there is a sort of nationally recognized standard for this. So flat is between 2 and 4 gloss units. So Keylink's matte color actually falls in that flat range. Matte is between 4 and 8 gloss units, and that is Keylink's textured color. So there's no nationally recognized textured sort of gloss unit. So things get switched around a little bit there for us. Satin is between 10 and 40 gloss units. Keylink satin is a true satin. Semi-gloss is between 40 and 70 gloss units, and Keylink gloss is actually a semi-gloss. Gloss itself is between 70 and 100 gloss units. That is very high. Gloss units, as you can see, sort of depicted on the top right there, is basically a measure of specular reflection based off of a 60-degree angle. So it's very sort of science behind that. So the important thing to remember with the gloss units is the gloss unit tolerance, sort of a nationally recognized tolerance, is plus or minus 2 gloss units. It doesn't sound like a whole lot after just describing gloss, which has a range between 70 and 100. But those 2 gloss units are the same gloss units between gloss and also flat. So if you have a unit tolerance of plus or minus 2 gloss units on flat, that's the entire range of flat. So the flatter a paint is, the more it can vary in its sheen, in its gloss. And so you can end up having a flat color that's actually matte. That just sort of dips its toes into that matte category a little bit. And if you have one that is at the extreme, say one is all the way up at 4 gloss units and one is all the way down at 2 gloss units, there's probably going to be a visual difference there, although it's going to be minute, but much more of a noticeable difference than if you would have something in the gloss range where it's 70 to 72. You're not going to see that at all. Just the way our eyes work. You will pick up the difference in gloss more at the lower gloss range. Now, I'm really going, in the weeds with this. These are going to be typically differences, even in the most extreme cases, differences that you will barely notice, but it's important to remember. Another thing that's important to remember is coastal coatings. That extra coating on top of everything is always going to impart an additional gloss. So if you have 2 coatings right next to each other, if you have a textured coating, and a matte coating, or sorry, if you have say you have a textured coastal coating next to a textured, standard 2605 coating, they're not going to be the same gloss. The coastal is going to be a little bit glossier, just because of that difference in coating. So here are all the colors that we offer. You'll notice here on the right, our new satin color palette. That's satin driftwood, smoke, storm, and willow. Those for the rest of the year until 2025 will be available at standard color pricing. So really cool. They're really cool colors. Our design team has worked very hard on finding the right colors, the trending colors in the industry. Everything else here, I'm sure you're probably pretty familiar with. The standard, the special order colors, the coastal upgrade colors. You've probably seen. Here they are if you have not. But getting into the the satin colors here into each individual. So our satin driftwood is inspired by the natural weathered appearance of driftwood on a beach. Features a blend of light gray and beige tones, very trending in design spaces. We really see this as a popular sort of beach kind of feel to it, kind of sandy. Of course, there are many different applications for it, I'm sure, but that was sort of the big draw to this color. Satin smoke, a soft muted shade of gray with a subtle undertone of blue, green, and brown, giving it a smoky appearance, targeted to industrial settings, a great aesthetic pairing for concrete environments. That says it right there. This is a really cool industrial feel. It should be said that just because this is a great pairing for concrete doesn't mean it's going to match concrete exactly. The color of concrete depends on the mix, obviously, but it really does pair well with it. Satin Storm, this is probably definitely our most requested and most anticipated color. It's a deep gray that features undertones of blue and green, giving it a cool, stormy feel reminiscent of a stormy sky. It is similar to Marvin Windows Gunmetal Gray. We are not going to guarantee that it is a perfect match because we don't make Marvin Windows. We can't control their color quality and their, Delta E units. Also, it's, two different materials as well, so you have a little bit of a difference in color there, but it is a real close match. If you have Marvin Windows on a house, if the gunmetal gray Marvin Windows on a house, this is a really good pairing for it, and we have gotten a lot of requests for this as that color starts to increase in popularity. Satin Willow, a shade that evokes the gentle, calming hues of willow tree leaves, blending light green with subtle gray undertones, perfect for wooded environments. This is actually one of my favorites, honestly. I think this is going to be a really good color for those, sort of log cabin, new renovated log cabin feel kind of homes, the Airbnbs, that kind of thing. It really matches the wooded environments without being so in your face like our hunter green color was before, which certainly has its appeal to maybe some of the older cabins, but as you start to modernize a lot of these old cabins, this is a really good feel. And not just a cabin, just a house in the woods is more than enough to match this color. So that is all of our new colors and all of my rambling on the old ones. We are constantly evolving colors to match ever-changing design trends. While other manufacturers are taking colors away from you, we are trying to bring more colors to you. So trying to increase those options for your customers. We know that satin smoke or satin willow is not going to be the new Tex Black. We know it's probably not going to sell millions and millions every year, but it's another option for you guys to have so that when your customers come up to you and say, do you have this, that you don't have to say no. We are intent on making railing a conscious design choice and not an afterthought. A big reason why black is so popular, it's not the only reason why, I'm sure, but a big reason why is because nobody really thinks of the railing when they're designing the house. They just put up the deck and then realize that they need to not fall off of it, and they buy something in black. So we are dedicated to making railing be a conscious design choice that actually adds to the aesthetic of the house rather than just, something to throw on there. Colors available with various textures and gloss values, and then of course our new color palette. What makes special order colors more expensive than standard? If you see demand for certain colors, could they become standard? Yes. So I don't actually purchase the powder. Obviously, it's a really good question, by the way. Obviously, the powder that you apply to a railing doesn't matter to the machines, doesn't matter to the people that are applying it. They just put it in the guns and spray. So as far as like a labor standpoint, there's really not much, if any difference at all in cost to us. The difference is in stocking. So we just don't stock as much powder for some of the lesser colors, and that does end up costing more in order to keep them in that sort of special order area. If colors do become more popular, like you say, is there any reason why they couldn't fall into standard pricing permanently? No, it does not. There are some colors that we have on here that are so seldomly ordered that it actually costs us more money to keep that color than it does for us to sell it. We actually lose money by having those colors. It's one or two colors, it's not many, but just goes to show you that those lesser ordered colors actually cost us money to keep as an option, and so the price does have to increase due to their rarity, I suppose you could say. But yeah, absolutely. If Satin Storm, it becomes such a popular color that's ordered so often, we could absolutely make that a permanent standard and thus apply the standard pricing. It's a really good question. I think that's all I have here. Here is a picture of that Satin Storm with the nice Chesapeake aluminum flat rail cap on top. Really cool sort of industrial setting. Really matches well with the dark wood tones, that walnut feel that everyone loves right now. Really cool color. So that's everything I have. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to respond to the email reminder that was sent to you. That will come to my email directly, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. Otherwise, thank you very much, and I will see you guys on the following Friday. This will be my last webinar for today, actually, and I will see you next Friday.